Welcome in Broncos Country, Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. On this episode, the magnets have been removed. Some pieces have been moved around, but what are the must-haves? What are the needs? What are the wants for this Denver Broncos team as we kind of round out this offseason heading into the NFL draft? Get to all that starting right about, I don't know, now. Welcome in, everybody, to Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. My name is Keith Brugman. I have a fantastic show planned for you this evening. We got 3 of the 4 horsemen, and we're ready to rock and roll, man. It was supposed to be Wednesday night. I apologize. We didn't let anybody know. Then Jody, my good friend below, was like, man, can we do it Thursday? I'm like, Jody, I'm not feeling, man. I'm not feeling all that great, man. Can we push it to Friday? Not only did we end up pushing it to Friday, we end up gaining a horseman as well. I'm still not feeling all that great, I'll be honest, gentlemen, but I'm here. I want to talk some Denver Broncos football, and I might as well welcome in my good friend Jody Moncrief, the guy who's been waiting the longest to do a podcast, man. Just wants to talk some Broncos football, for crying out loud. Let's talk. But Jody, how's your week, man? How you doing, man?
Doing good. Just waiting for the draft to get here. And just following all the drama of the NFL. I'm not going to get, if you're staying on top of things, you probably know what I'm talking about, and I find it pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Jody's been hanging out with some New England Patriots news. We'll just put it that way. So, but that being said, man, it's good to have you, man. Like I said, it's been delayed, and it's been delayed long enough. Good to talk some Broncos football with you, and good to talk with this guy, man. I'm going to see him again tomorrow night, so good Lord willing. If you want to talk a lot of football, a lot of Broncos football, night after night, look at these two faces right next to each other. Trevor, how you doing this night, though, this Friday night?
Doing well, Keith. Excited to be here. A little bit late notice, but hey, I mean, I'd like to jump on whenever we get a chance to and talk Bronco football. Big news for Broncos ownership today, of course. But that maybe that's what Jody was talking about with that funny news. I don't know. No, but big news today, I think, for all Denver sports out there, and big day, I think, for all Denver sports fans out there, and for Bronco and Rocky fans specific. So. Excited to be here, Keith. Can't wait to get into the show.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to get into it either. So I'm just going to throw that right back to you, get that swig back, wet the whistle, and talk about what happened today, man, because it is pretty cool what ended up happening for Denver sports, Denver community as well.
Yeah, so Broncos ownership, this is the Penner group. This is Greg and Carrie Penner. Separate group from Broncos ownership, of course. They bought 40% share stake in Rocky's ownership today. This was a deal that was in place actually and been talked about for about a year. And so Dick Moffer, current Rockies owner, majority owner of the team, has become good friends with Greg Penner and Carrie Penner over the last couple years, and but the Rockies were in talks with the Cronkies before who owned the Nuggets and Avalanche to maybe buy a stake into the franchise. So they were looking for some help, and the Penners stepped up. And I think the Penners are just showing how much they care about Denver, the city of Denver, Colorado sports fans, all of that. And so what a great day, I think, for the Penners as well. I mean, because that this is their foot into the door when it comes to baseball. Rob Walton also has a 10% share in the Arizona Diamondbacks. Fun fact. So this is a pretty big share that the Penners are getting with the Rockies, 40%. I mean, I think you need 51% to be the majority owner, so that's not too far off. Probably here, I'd guess 6 or 7 years down the line, we could see the Penners not only own the Broncos but own the Rockies. But heck of a day, obviously, with the Penners and with what they've done with the Broncos from on and off the field, from a financial standpoint, culture standpoint, to be able to bring that over to the Rockies as well. I think it's a pretty special day for everybody involved.
Pretty special for the Denver community. Jody, anything you want to add, man? It is pretty cool. I think it's an investment into what we've seen, George and Kerry and the Walter Penner group, and, all the opportunities that they've kind of been putting in forth for Denver and the Denver area and Denver sports. Cool to see them get involved with the Colorado Rockies. That's my 2 cents. But Jody, I want to hear yours as well, man.
No, I think it's pretty cool. I guess the big thing that I heard them with the 40%, it basically cleared all the debt the Rockies owned. Yeah. That was one of the big things. Mm-hmm. And then, like Trevor said, this is just the Penners. Rob Walton is not a part of this. As Trevor said, he owns 10% of their Diamondbacks. So, I mean, you can't own multiple teams in, the same sport. So,
I will add to this real quickly as well. The Penners will not be involved in the day-to-day operations with the Rockies just quite yet, as they're still a minority part of the ownership group. Their sole focus is on the Broncos and dealing with everything there. Greg Penner will run the day-to-day operations with the Broncos. The Monfort, Dick Monfort will continue to be CEO of the Rockies and will continue to run the Rockies as usual. And then his son, Walker, will run the day-to-day operations there as a team president. So that's nothing changes from the business standpoint between the Broncos and Rockies. I think that's something really critical to point out here. Mm-hmm. Big change in ownership group possibly down the line. Big share with the Penners. Just goes to show that they really do care about, again, city of Denver and all Colorado fans, but nothing changes from a business standpoint from both the Broncos and the Rockies situation.
Gentlemen, great synopsis of just what's going on in Denver sports. It's dynamic. It's always changing. And it's kind of cool to have owners that, are this progressive and have the pockets in order to do so. Really investing in the Denver area. And it just solidifies who we are, not only as Denver Broncos fans, but as, I think, Colorado sports fans in general. In our back chats, believe me, we get into Nuggets, we get into Avalanche, we get into Broncos, and Lord willing, if the Rockies can do a little bit better like they've started off so far this season, maybe we'll talk a little bit more Rockies now, especially now that we have the ownership percentages changes. Got to say hello to the posse, though. JC Weaver's coming in and saying, "What's up, ballers? Good to see you. Good to see you, JC. Thanks for coming in." And he's saying Walmart money taking over the Denver sports. I can finally cheer for the Rockies again. Laugh out loud. JC, it's good to see you, my friend. Again, I can't wait. It'll be interesting. It's great to see this. I think it's a win-win for everybody. Ernie Mays, it's always a win-win seeing you go Broncos country only. Hello, Keith and Trevor and Jody. We got Adam and Kayla coming in saying, "What's good, family? Y'all rock." Good to see you, Adam and Kayla. Everybody coming in on Facebook really early. We appreciate it. And Michael Rockio coming in and saying, "Good evening, Keith and Trevor and Jody. Go Bo Broncos. Blue and orange hearts. Mile high salute." Good to see you, Michael Rockio. The Rock himself, man, big supporter of ours from almost the get-go, man. Like a lifetime supporter, I guess that would be the best way to put it. And he's saying, "Welcome back from my vacation, man." Thank you, man. It's good to be back. Much missed talking some Denver Broncos football with all of y'all. So, and last but not least, might as well throw all the comments in here. Patrick coming in on Facebook saying, "Aloha, boys." Good to see you, Patrick. A little bit of Lion coffee in my cup as we speak, man. Trying to keep my attitude going, my energy going as I'm fighting. I don't know what the heck it is, but it's good to be here talking with you. And thank you, Patrick. LionCoffee.com for the best coffee in the world. Not that they say that, but I do. Check them out, lioncoffee.com. So, gentlemen, Michael Ronquillo, he's helping me out. I kind of had this idea when he came in, orange and blue hearts, mile high salute, go Broncos, 100 stars. That's the way that Michael Ronquillo rolls, man. Appreciate you so dang much, Michael. Michael, I'm telling you what, man, the support you've given us, I'll just say it, man. Second to none, man. Second to none. I can always rely on Michael, not only with his comments, his thoughts, but really appreciate you helping us out through Facebook Stars, man. Gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Second answer to that as well. So I want to appreciate Michael for everything that's supporting all of our shows too. Michael, you do a great job along with everybody in our posse, our everything we got going on.
Posses and juicers and mock drafters and
everything.
Yeah, you name it, man. And it's crazy, man. It's I continue to speak. We get more of those posse members, as we call them here, coming in, like Clayton coming in saying, hey, guys, and smash that like and share button. Something I don't say enough. So Clayton's always in here reminding me. Appreciate it so much, Clayton. Another big time supporter and always been there rocking on this podcast, talking Broncos for a long time. Speaking of long time, the Horseman back in the saddle, back in the seats. The Horseman back in the seats. I improv the saddle. Sorry, that's Albert Mile High Dutchy. Good to see you, Albert. Good to see you. Oh, one of our first commenters on YouTube, but not the only one, because TW is coming in and saying what's up as well. Whew. NFL draft is just 2 weeks away, says Michael Ronquillo. If I go make a mock draft, would you all be interested in doing it live on Pro Football Sports Network? That says Big E Bronco. We would do a mock draft. Let's maybe talk about that for a future episode. Don't try to do anything on your own, Big E, but we'll get a mock draft up here in here, DBR style. We got to at some point. It's only 2 weeks away. Gentlemen, I've almost talked myself into another swallow of coffee here. As I said on the top of the show, though, the magnets have been removed. That's something that Sean Payton has been talking about from the very get-go. As soon as the season is done, you remove the magnets. But I'm throwing it back a little bit to something he said, I think, his first offseason. He talked about his must-haves, his needs, and his wants. I would like to get some discussion around those three topics, as now we've kind of went through free agency, though I will say Aqib Talib keeps chasing some ideas and some thoughts and some, I don't know, maybe some inside information that there's still one big move to be made. So we also have the must-haves, the needs, and the wants. That's what I'm going to get to. I'm going to get to the comments as well on my phone, because I see Clayton has a blank comment, and that usually means a little bit of love. I want to get to that as well. I'm going to start off with Jody, though, man, because I'm going to talk to the guy next to me all tomorrow night as well. So we'll have more opportunity to talk on this if we need. Must-haves, Jody. What tops your list as far as must-haves is concerned now that we're at this point in the offseason? We're that close to the draft, man. So whether it be draft picks, wherever it comes from, must-haves, give it to me, my friend.
I'm not really sure that there is a must-have. If I was going to say one, probably a third middle linebacker, just because your depth is not good there. But that can all go away if Jonah Ellis comes in and surprises everyone and he balls out there at middle linebacker. I guess I'll say depth at middle linebacker. Other than that, there's really not really a must-have. I've said for a while that Denver's in a position that if they have to overdraft a guy, so be it. Get the guy you want. You don't have many needs.
Let me back up a little bit then. You kind of haphazardly or reluctantly, that's what I'm saying, chose linebacker, not haphazardly, reluctantly chose that third linebacker. did the Denver Broncos already address their must-haves in the offseason, in your opinion? And if that's the case, what was it? Who was it? How did it happen? How did we get here to where we basically don't have a must-have? You're kind of like, well, maybe a third linebacker.
Yeah, I mean they really addressed everything. I mean, I know some people are going to say upgrade at running back, but they went out and re-signed Dobbins. They have a lot of faith in RJ Harvey. Yeah, I mean the guys that they needed back, they re-signed, and yeah, I mean I think they did everything that I wanted them to do. Really, I have really no complaints other than maybe some down the depth chart pieces who might not even be around. But other than that, I love all the moves they've made. Dobbins might be the only one, but like I've said, my crazy take is that he plays 15 or more games, so it's revenge tour for him this year. So yeah, I mean, you're a hurt quarterback away from making the Super Bowl, and you had neck and neck with the Texans as the best defense in football. And I think Denver just made a decision that it was internal stuff why the offense struggled a little bit, and I think some of the tweaks that they're doing personnel wise, they think will fix this. And so, yeah, I can't complain about any of the moves they've made.
Very good, man. Not very many must-haves from Jody, man. He's feeling pretty good about our Denver Broncos. I see some of the comments coming in. TW coming in out in there on YouTube. Even Albert Knopper is coming in on YouTube. 3 different categories, so I just want to make sure, especially when it comes to TW, because you do have one of them kind of listed in there. Must-haves, needs, and wants. Those are the 3. What do you have, if anything, in those 3 categories? For Jody, reluctantly putting in maybe a third linebacker, looking for Jonah Ellis to maybe step up in that role this year. And if he does, then doesn't really see a whole lot of must-haves. Likes what the Denver Broncos have done building this team and what they've done in this offseason. I want to jump to Kurt Valente really quick because I know he's usually in and out real quick, and then I got to get over to you, Trevor. Kurt Valente says, yep, Talib said Broncos going to make another blockbuster deal probably on draft night. Who can it be? Is it the Broncos? Is it Breece Hall, a tight end? Who? Because Michael Ronquillo a little bit earlier, prior to Kurt saying this, said that Aqib Talib said that we were going to be using a draft pick potentially to go out there and get an NFL veteran. Broncos are the best roster, and all this team is loaded. Lombardi number 4 this year, says Mr. Kurt Valente. And who do we got? We got T Fishes. I think a new name that I haven't seen over on YouTube says, I dislike the whole needs talk. Seeing George draft for the future and address needs through free agency. Right now, they don't believe the team needs anything. I'm just using Sean Payton's own language. He year ago was coming out and he says, hey, man, when we kind of are assembling what we need to do in the offseason, we have must-haves, we have needs, and we have wants. Right now, we're on the must-haves. Maybe they've already been addressed. I'll tell you, must-haves on my list, Jody, you kind of hit mine as well. I think linebacker is probably a must-have on their list. I have one other one. I want to see what Trevor has to say as well. Trevor, must-haves for this Denver Broncos team. Have they already addressed it? Did they already address it in some ways? And if not, if they didn't fully address it, what do they got left to do?
Well, I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to go complete and just talent. I mean, that's where I'm going. And that sounds like a lazy answer, but let me explain it real quick. I don't think this team can just go out and say, oh, well, we're going to target a tight end at 62. Taking a linebacker 62, that is it. No, you need to see how the board falls. Because guess what? You have Jaquan McMillan, Riley Moss, both probably not on this roster at this point next off season. You're probably moving off of one of those guys at some point. You can't pay both of them. So you're going to you have problems potentially at cornerback down the line. Brandon Jones, and on an expiring contract, that's your starting safety. You have nobody right now waiting in the wings to take over that spot. And obviously they have linebackers that are in need. Are always looking for big guys up front with the defensive line. Ben Powers they could possibly move off of next year, so next offseason. So for me, it's straight up talent. That's must have. You must have talent. Must have. I don't care where the heck they draft and who the heck they take at 62. He better be your best player on your board. You cannot go drafting for need. You've got to be drafting for one and drafting the best talented player on the board. If that's a safety, you take him. Let him sit behind Brandon Jones for your heck, Brandon Jones gets hurt. That guy may play half the season, and he may turn to be your starter going into the next season. So for me, it's just straight up talent. You can't sit there and prioritize need at 62 and more as this draft goes on. You need the best possible draft class you can get, because this roster is starting to get expensive, and that's why I would be interested to see what Keith Talib, what he said about blockbuster move, because without dipping into 2027's draft capital, I don't know if I see them making a blockbuster move, but you don't really have the draft capital to do so right now. Maybe is that Jaquan McMillan, Riley Moss trade, possibly. And maybe attach a pick 62 and try to move up into the first round. I don't know. But for me, it's just best player on the board, best talent on the board. You got to have talent, though, to be able to perform at a high level and continue to do so, because you're right around the corner from having to pay Bo Nix a big contract, too. So,
Yeah, you took that in a completely different direction, messed up everything that I had written in my agenda. I'm just kidding, brother. I understand where you're coming from, though, man. And it's kind of like, I almost get the feeling you're talking about what the fourth horseman, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick, is talking about in the comments here. He says, "What's up, horseman?" Michael Clayton, Kurt, and everyone in the posse. I think you strictly go best player available in this draft. When you're talking must-haves, especially in context to the number 62 overall pick for the Denver Broncos, I think that's the gist of what I'm getting from you. You're just going to go kind of your best player. You need talent. No specific spot. You can't target somebody at that position or target a particular position at that spot being number 62. You just have to go out there and you need to find somebody that can go out there and be a playmaker be a playmaker potentially this year. Am I hearing that right, Trevor?
Yeah, absolutely. Best player available, and because again, Keith, I mean, this roster's needs are going to be different in a year. I mean, you got to have young, controllable players, and most importantly, guys can get on the field. I'm not taking the third best tight end on my board when I have a safety that's right there top of my board. I'm taking that safety at 62. People are not going to love that pick, but guess what? He's the best player on the board, and he gives us the best chance to possibly play sooner rather than later. And again, you're one injury away from having to step into that role and be that guy on the field for this team.
Can I have one position that I have pretty much taken off the board at 62, and it's running back for me, because I've said this for a couple of years now. I don't want another running back in here, and then you can't decide who's getting the ball. You've committed to RJ Harvey, whether you like him or you don't, and RJ Harvey and Dobbins, that's the two running backs. If you want to draft one later down the line for insurance or whatever, so be it. But I want another guy in the second round that's going to sit here and battle carries with RJ Harvey, because then you don't develop either one of them. And you end up with Audric Estime, who would have been your best back in the playoffs this year, but you got rid of him because you didn't play him, because you were in this carousel of running backs. That's the one position that I have pretty much taken off my board, the way they've committed to the way they went out and got Dobbins right away, and the way they speak highly of RJ Harvey.
Well, I'll kind of move through my list a little bit then. I have linebacker, and I was surprised that I didn't get this out of Trevor, but defensive tackle in my must-haves. I'll be honest, running back is in my needs. And the way I look at it, I still see that J.K. Dobbins basically signed a one-year contract. We can see if he even plays through all 2 years, but at best case scenario, you're getting 2 years on a guy that is, and I know that we want to go both ways on this, but he's often injured. And I think you need to have one more guy in there in that rotation. And just because you went out and you re-signed Jaleel McLaughlin and you have Tyler Bidet on this roster, that means nothing if you can go out there and you can get a Mike Washington. And now you say, okay, we got Mike Washington, we have RJ Harvey moving forward, because let's face it, J.K. Dobbins 1 year, maybe 2 years, and then we had to find a solution. If the best player available is staring you in the face is a running back at that point at number 62, which very well could be, I think that's definitely a potential you need to go. I want to rewind the conversation, or at least the comments, a little bit, because everyone wanted to get on board with the idea or the comment that came up earlier about Aqib Talib and trading for somebody. Albert Knoppers says, man, if it was up to me, I'd go out there and I'd trade something and try to make Kyle Pitts happen. Michael Ronquillo is pointing out the fact that Breece Hall still has not signed his franchise tag as of yet. I know that we just got done talking running backs. Maybe Jody's not the right person to ask on this. Maybe I should go Trevor first, but I'm not. I'm going to go Jody. Breece Hall, man. If you could bring Breece Hall in a trade, and maybe that trade ends up having to be a player and one of your draft picks, a.k.a. RJ Harvey is out the door. You could bring in a Breece Hall potentially. Is that something that you would entertain? Is Breece Hall the blockbuster trade that Aqib Talib is hinting at, and Michael Ronquillo maybe is hinting at as well?
No, because you don't even have the ammo now, because you got to trade 2 1s for him.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
because he was tagged.
And Kyle Pitts too.
I mean, you've taken yourself out of.
But if they haven't signed, well, I don't know. Yeah. It's still tagged.
You've taken yourself basically out of
all the
going after anyone that's been tagged. So,
and that's a silly move anyway, in my opinion, giving up 2 first-round picks for running back or even a tight end. I think that would be not a smart move for the Broncos. I'll say that right now. And I know that Breece Hall and Kyle Pitts are good players, but that's on a team that's getting expensive. That's not the way to use the assets right there. I mean, you give up 1-1 for Waddle. That seemed like a pretty solid deal for both teams, but 2 first-round picks for one player, like, yeah.
Keith,
I think we're out of the AJ Brown talk though too. Now that we've got Waddle as well, so I mean, the pieces are kind of dwindling away for potentials, of some big blockbuster trade, or what we consider blockbuster trade. I think, in my opinion, maybe there's something out there that just shocks me though.
Well, I think the trade is what Trevor said. It's Riley Moss and Jaquan McMillan are probably not coming back next year because of Jahdae Barron.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to let them walk again for like you did John Franklin Myers? I mean, Denver made in my opinion, they made their mind up a long time ago. They weren't bringing him back when they signed Malcolm Roach to what he got.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have to pick one of those 2 guys. You're not letting both of them corners walk. So,
yeah. And this would be the draft to do it. Here, I'll throw this little offer out there for everybody. Pick 62 and one of Jaquan McMillan and Riley Moss move up either the back end of the first round to get that 5th-year option, more team control, or early second-round pick. Maybe Jacob Rodriguez, maybe whoever you're going to target. That's, for me, that's making value of your asset right there, because now you're getting ahead of all these other teams. You're getting a chance to get a real, player possibly for this team, even if you move into the top, the back end of the first round, plus or even early second round. But you're not going into the season with knowing that Ryan Moss or Quan McMillan, are not going to be back. It's not drama anymore. Now you kind of pick who the guy you're going to go with, but you got value back. Now you got contractual control over the rookie that you're going to bring in if you would make such trade. But that's a trade for me that makes a lot of sense, I think, for the Broncos if they're going to make a big splash.
Got TW agreeing with Trevor there, but we got Pearl coming in and saying lots of rumors about Mims being trade bait out there. Got to say, right off the bat, soon as Waddle was on this roster, I said, Marvin Mims is the duplicate. Marvin Mims is the guy I could see being traded. It sounds like there is a little bit more steam coming around that. I'll go to Jody. Jody, thoughts around Marvin Mims being moved? Is that a possibility in your mind, and do you think it would come to fruition as well?
I mean, it's always possible, I guess, if someone wants to give you a ransom like they did for Devon Vele last year. But I think at wide receiver, what you more could see, and we talked about this a few weeks ago or whatever, is you want Pat Bryant to step up and take that next leap where he can be WR2. And then that allows you to get off of Cortland Sutton's deal and you can trade him. And if you can get some decent pieces for that, that's really what you want. And then sign Marvin Mims back in that. But that's the move I think you want to go. You don't want to get into the Cincinnati Bengals paying 2 wide receivers giant contracts. In my opinion, that's because Pat Bryant is the big body receiver that he's a Cortland Sutton or can get to a Cortland Sutton clone-like type wide receiver. So,
Trevor, any thoughts from you on Marvin Mims? Do you think he's a potential move, or do you think he's more of an asset that needs to stick around? I think that Jody's more advocating for.
Yeah, this is the tough part of having a good team is you're going to lose good players. That's just the reality of the NFL. It's the reality of a cap-driven league. Marvin Mims is one of those players that should be shopped around. I will say that. I know everybody loves him. He's, all-pro kick returner on special teams, but you've got to be able to shop him around and see what you can get. This is the time to do that with Jaquan McMillan, Marvin Mims, Riley Moss. There's no reason you can't move around in this draft having those 3 players as assets because you're not going to be able to bring back all 3 after next season. So all 3 going in the final year of their deal. So this is a tough part of having a really good team. You're going to lose good players, and this is like the Broncos just got to get out in front of that. They can't go all season, all 3 of these guys on the roster, and then you lose all 3 of them. You get comp picks a year later, but it's like too little, too late. You need to move off of them earlier if you're going to. It may hurt the roster currently, in a way, but at least you're getting something back with that rookie, and you're getting, that rookie contract that you can continue to build this roster outright with.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Marvin Mims needs to be shopped. I think it's the right time. We just got done talking about, a guy like, Moss being shopped around. It's the right time. You don't want to just see him walk out the door. You can't pay everybody. You got to start making some decisions. Why not make a decision with Marvin Mims? Go ahead, shop him around out there. His value doesn't get much higher. Right now, I think with Waddle coming in, it's not going to help the amount of touches and yards he's going to put up as a receiver. His best asset is the fact that he's one of the best returners. But honestly, you didn't draft him as high as you did just to have an all-pro returner. He could be somebody special for another team, and maybe a team's willing to pay that price in order to see if that's the possibility. If that's the case, then Marvin Mims is, I think, a guy that you'd end up moving on from. I got to say, though, real quick before you jump in, Jody, Pearl's coming in here. She's continuing this conversation, even though she's planning for a fantastic show because she's our sponsor, and she has Morgan Trinkets. And they've been doing Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, and Estate Gold for over 35 years. They were once a nationwide company. Now they do shows in your backyard, especially tomorrow, if you happen to be out in Greeley, if I remember correctly. I just want to make sure. Greeley, tomorrow, Ultimate Garage Sale, Island Park Grove. That's the place to be. Morgan Trinkets, all the Southwest Jewelry, all the Southwest Pottery, all the Estate Gold, and silver, my friends. Silver, she has silver at some of the craziest prices while supplies last. If you want to reach out, get in contact with her, you certainly can. Best way to do that is just by typing in Prada Corgi at AOL.com. That's Prada Corgi at AOL.com, and you can get a hold of Pearl if you want to get a hold of her on the virtual side of things. Jody, I want to get to what I know you turned on your microphone. That usually means you have a thought, a question. I want to get to that, and then we'll get back to the chat and the posse and see what they got going on, because I see Paul's in here talking a little bit as well.
Well, I was just going to ask real quick. Everyone keeps saying we can't afford to pay all these guys. What what do you think Bo Nix does? Just say he has likewise or a little bit better season next year. Was he going to hold Denver ransom for 60 plus million, or do you think he will be a team friendly type guy, or he's going to show me the money?
I'll let Trevor answer first.
I'm gonna say, show me the money. Yeah, and I can't blame him. This might be his only time he gets paid this amount of money that he's about to get paid. I think clearly Broncos ownership, obviously, and George Payton, Sean Payton value Bo Nix even more than I think some may think. Just because like George Payton made the comment of like Bo is trying to be a GM. He doesn't always make the right decisions. He's not always right, but he tries to play GM sometimes. And making that little comment tells me they value what Bo Nix is saying. Teams don't do that unless that's their franchise quarterback going forward. So I think Bo gets paid, and that's the thing. Bo can get paid, but the Broncos can still have cap flexibility. That's the thing, because you see with the Chiefs all the time with Patrick Mahomes, you can flip that base salary into signing bonuses all day long, year after year after year, and so the Broncos can still be able to do that down the road, and still have $30-40 million in cap space to do whatever they need to do. But again, it's just you can't pay everybody. We've just seen that the repercussions of that with JFM this past season. They couldn't pay him to get that 4th round comp pick next year in the draft, which they value. But yeah, I mean, I think Bo Nix can get paid, and the Broncos can still have enough flexibility going forward with how they can rework the cap.
Jody, you talk about it all the time. This salary cap just keeps going up and up and up, and that's why this Denver Bronco team can continue to pay their athletes. Why would Bo Nix want to take less money when the money keeps going up and up and up? If anything, he probably should want more. And if nothing else, there's only so much you can play in that space, right? I think once Tom Brady won a Super Bowl so early, he was able to play that card and say, I want to keep coming back and I want to keep winning Super Bowls, and I'll take a little bit less. And I get that. But there's not very many guys that are sitting in that boat that win a couple super early in their career and then say, you know what, from here on out, I can take a little bit less. It also is kind of frowned upon, because you're kind of messing up the market for the next guy that needs a contract, so there's only so much flexibility. So yeah, Bo's going to get paid. But I still remember when Patrick Mahomes got his $100 million contract, and I thought that was the most insane number I'd ever seen in my entire life. And now we look back and we go, wow, Patrick Mahomes plays for kind of cheap sometimes, depending upon the year. Quite honestly, for a Super Bowl champion, he plays for kind of cheap now on that $100 million contract. So, it's all perspective. And as long as the money keeps moving forward, I think Bo can get paid well, and still leave plenty of space for this team to maneuver in the future.
And I think that's important too with Bo next year. If the Broncos choose to re-up him next offseason, they're getting, in a way, if you think about it, they're getting out in front of it, because the quarterback market's only going to go higher and higher, and only going to get higher and higher, more expensive. So you wait to that 5th year or closer to that 5th year option, he's going to be even more expensive, more than likely. So they can do it next offseason and re-up him sooner rather than later. Could possibly help the Broncos' cap situation as well, and a little bit less for Bo, and help Broncos just in general.
Last thing on this from me is it's probably feels a lot better for Bo Nix to be doing this with the Denver Broncos versus if he was a Cincinnati Bengal. Because again, you'll have that flexibility in the future to just be like, okay, just give me all that money up front and we'll push the numbers around. And, we have the ownership in order to do that. We started off with this episode talking about ownership. We're about 3/4 of the way through. We're talking about it again. This ownership does allow you to do a lot of great things. Great question, Jody, man. I appreciate it. Big E Bronco has a question, man. Jody, you asked one thing and we rambled on, so now you get to talk for a little bit, man. Can Courtland Sutton be traded? I think so, says Big E Bronco. I know that you were talking about, replacements for Cortland Sutton potentially being on this roster. Are the Denver Broncos ready to make that move right now? Is Cortland Sutton a potential trade candidate?
For me right now, no. But I think this coming off season, yeah, I need to see Pat Bryant take that next leap. If Pat Bryant can get you 800-900 yards and 5-6 touchdowns, and and he can stay healthy and he doesn't have the concussion stuff, and then I really consider it, because I don't want to get in a situation like the Bengals where you're paying two giant contracts to wide receivers.
I agree, man. I'd have the same timeline. I saw a couple of ones. I alluded to it a little bit earlier. I know this is not Jody's question. I'm going to have to flip this one to Trevor. I've heard a lot of people kind of rumoring the fact that the Denver Broncos will probably add a veteran running back after the draft. Paul's out there. He says he's a big advocate of Austin Eckler. There it is. I want Eckler, says Paul over on YouTube. And it kind of also gets me to this one from Michael Ronquillo over on Facebook saying the Denver Broncos Super Bowl window is now. It's about veteran players, not NFL draft picks. So putting 2 and 2 together, Austin Eckler, just one name, Trevor. The running back position just being one name. But you do see this, man, when the Super Bowl window is now, you go out there, you load up, you get that veteran leadership, you get sometimes even those older guys that are at the end of their contract. I know you were just as an example, a big Calais Campbell guy, bringing a guy like that in, that a great example of a veteran player that, you could add. Anybody on your radar that you would be looking for, or position you'd be looking for, or anything like that? I think you're in agreement with what's already been said as far as maybe adding that veteran talent.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: you can't get too caught up though in 1 year. I mean, this is about the Broncos being the Super Bowl window being open for multiple years. I mean, that's really what it's about. So the Broncos value draft picks. They do. That's how they built this roster. That's gonna be what they continue to do going forward. You can make these splashy moves, and they've shown that they are not afraid to do so with the Jalen Waddle trade. They've definitely sped up that process a little bit more, but they do definitely value draft picks. Don't get me wrong, and they will continue to do so. That's from Greg Penner all the way down to George Payton and even Sean Payton as well. They value draft picks, and they love to draft and develop players. A lot of these players going forward, they're going to continue to do so. They'll add, they'll supplement in free agency. They'll make trades when they need to. As far as adding a veteran running back, I would wait, and there's no rush after the draft. Really, who out there are you really like, right after that draft, we got to go sign this guy or he's going to get picked up? Not really. I would throw another name out there too. If you're really concerned about this running back room, Joe Mixon. I know he's got some, a lot of tread on that tire, on his tires a little bit, but and he's been hurt a lot. But you sign him on a veteran minimum contract, bring in some more competition in that running back room. This is a guy that's been a clear starter in the NFL when he's healthy. Maybe you bring him in and see what he can do, and see if he can add some more competition to that running back room.
Yeah, I think you need to add something there. I think whether it be through draft or whether it be after the draft, a veteran added to that running back room. You could see the tight end room. I mean, if I was going to go through my must-haves, needs, and wants, defensive tackle, linebacker, running back, tight end, safety. Those are all the guys in my must-haves and needs type of category. Now, some of those are going to be taken care of when we hit the draft. Hopefully we get a couple of those with some depth pieces there. I think I think we're fairly well loaded, but at the same time, I think we can add, as you put, Trevor, some talent here. We need talented individuals, and I just go back, man, whether it was, and I know what you're saying. I know it's not final run. It's not John Elway at the end of his career. It's not Peyton Manning, making that final run and trying to, get that trophy for Denver as well. It's Bo Nix, and he's still pretty young, and you hope to have a great future. But I still go back to great teams being built with guys like Neil Smith, you know what I mean, that came in and were like integral, or DeMarcus Ware, you know, and I get like that was end of careers for maybe the quarterback, but that was mid career and early careers for a lot of other players on those teams. I think when you're this dynamic, when you're this close, if you can go out there and you can add those type of individuals, you do. And hopefully there'll be a couple of those hanging around after the draft that we can add to this roster, because let's face it, we don't have the best draft capital as we sit today.
No.
I'll add one thing. Why I think you're in Super Bowl mode now, probably for the next 2 to 3 years, is some of the aging players you have at important positions. You might need a left tackle. Bowles is getting up there. You might need a right tackle. You're probably moving on from Ben Powers. I mean, there's 3 offensive linemen right there.
Yeah.
DJ Jones is going to be 30. You're gonna have all these guys, and those are important positions that you're gonna have to do something with, and that's why draft capital is going to be important, because you're not going to be able to go out and pay and get big name guys like that with Bo Nix on this massive contract. You're going to have to draft a left tackle, or maybe he's on this roster now, but you're going to have to do something there. So that's why I don't like just the go get veteran guys. I mean, if you're one piece away, like Denver did in 15, and you went and traded for Vernon Davis because you felt you were lacking at tight end, that's one thing. But you've got to look at some of these other key pieces, and Garrett Bowles for one, you're going to have to do something there eventually. So that's why I'm not just getting rid of all my draft capital to go get guys.
And that's fair. I don't think that's a whole lot of capital. I'm talking about guys that are basically on the street, free agent signings, veteran free agent signings. We're not trading any draft capital, but I think there's that potential to add and help bolster up when we're in a spot where I think we have more opportunities that we could add talent and add depth than we have draft picks available that will be meaningful and can actually, help fill out an NFL roster. It's great that we have like 3 7th round draft picks, but I think it might even be 4. I don't know, 3 7th round draft picks, 3. But I mean, what do you do with 3 7th round draft picks? Really? I mean, it's not where you want to be. It's I mean,
someone made a suggestion earlier what you could do with one of them.
Oh man. Oh man,
I
must have missed that. But
I have a question. Do you guys feel that all 22 starters are set in stone basically on this team? Do you feel that they're? I mean, other than really John Franklin Meyer's spot, and I feel like that's almost set in stone too with Roach. Do you feel that everywhere is set?
I don't feel that way at all.
No, I don't either.
I don't think that this is a team that allows, I don't know, the complacency to feel like they're all set. Now, they're not going to come out. They're not going to say that live right out there on the podium, George Payton or Sean Payton. But at the same time, yeah, I don't see where the Denver Broncos are willing to do that. And I even just go back to some of the competition that we've seen in the past, you know what I mean, that has sprung up. I don't think anybody that thought Jaquan McMillan was going to be that guy this last year, but he was, and that all happened out in training camp, so year after year, we're proven wrong, and our 22 guys are all set and ready to go. And maybe even Trevor is a little bit nervous to talk about this. He had to keep himself off camera. If that's okay.
Having some technical difficulties with camera issues. So, I mean, my camera did that topic.
And that's not possible. That doesn't happen, man.
No, not last Saturday night when Keith had camera issues. But I'm just kidding.
Too many.
So if you guys feel that way, what spots do you feel are open? I mean, we can probably agree that it could be Dobbins, it could be RJ Harvey, but what spot do you feel is like wide open? Other than I will say probably John Franklin Meyer's spot, which I kind of penciled in Roach.
I think there could be competition at cornerback still. I think there could be competition at safety, especially when we start talking about potential moves in this draft and everything else that could happen. I mean, if we see all of a sudden that Moss is traded, all types of windows start opening up. If we go out there and draft a dynamic tight end somehow, or we bring in via trading and bring in a veteran tight end somehow, yeah, I think that's another place that we could see it. If we go out there and our first pick is in the second round is a running back, and it's like Mike Washington, I don't think that anybody's safe in that running back room. I think there's pretty good competition across the board. RJ Harvey in his second year, J.K. Dobbins coming back from injury and having a lot to prove. You know what I mean? I think there's could be competition, and we're not even talking offensive line or defensive line, which I still think there could be some potential there. Like you said, guys are getting older and guys are going to get replaced out. And we have a lot of guys on this roster that seem to be knocking on the door, potential positions here in the very near future. Future might be sooner than we expect.
Yeah. Well, and I would even say as safety too. I mean, you lost PJ Locke this offseason as well. And so your depth at safety is questionable. I know you have Devon Key and JL Skinner's probably mostly going to be a special teamer at this point in time. I don't think you can really rely upon him to push for a starting spot at this point. So, I mean, safety for me is a bigger issue than what's being talked about too, because you're one injury away from, man, that's scary. Like we don't know what the heck we're going to get in that secondary. So I agree. Cornerback though too, especially if you trade one of Rylan Moss or Jaquan McMillan, you're going to have some competition. There's Jahade Barron. I mean, at some point in time, you've got to give Jahade Barron some playing time. I mean, you spent a first round draft pick on him a year ago. You didn't do that for him just to set the bench. And so the more and more time that goes on, the more and more time that looks like a bad draft pick, because now he's not even seeing the field and you spent a first round pick on him. Like that he's got to be able to see the field. And he's got to be able to step up. You got to kind of put him in that spot at some point in time. So when did the Broncos decide to do that will be a major question going forward.
I still have this odd feeling that he could be transitioned to that safety position, cornerback safety type of role, and kind of fill that void and still kind of keep pieces in place if need be. But that's just, I think he has the body type for it. I've seen it since the very beginning. He's tall, he's lengthy, he's willing to hit from the cornerback position. If Jahade Barron could be transition to that.
And they could show their hand with that too. I mean, if they draft a cornerback over a safety, they could show their hand with that and like, oh, we're going to move, Jahade Barron over to safety, and where he's going to play more safety, and we're going to draft a cornerback, and because you need somebody behind Riley Moss and Jaquan McMillan either way. I mean, I know you have C.J. Abrams drain, but I mean, you don't know what you're going to get with him going forward either. So you need more competition in that cornerback room if you're going to take away from that cornerback room too. So.
Got a little bit of time left. One thing that we didn't talk about is wants. Got any wants, Jody? Anything that you just want this Denver Broncos team to go out there and get? I know it might not be a must have, or a need, but if you had a want, what would it be, my friend?
Mm-hmm. A want for me would be go get a legit 3-down running back and stop with these split running backs and go get a legit Derrick Henry, whoever, someone like that. Get a real running back and stop this split carries and stuff. Get a real 3-down running back.
Real 3-down running back. I like that, man. I like that. Someone that can put their nose in there, drive the pile, move the chains. But Michael Ronquillo just wants something small. He just wants a Super Bowl championship. So I like it, Michael. Thank you. Trevor, 3-down running back. That's the suggestion. Your suggestion for your want would be?
A young tight end to develop. I mean, how long are we going to go? I mean, other than Caleb Lohner last year in the 7th round. how long are you going to go without taking another shot on a young tight end? I know Greg Dulcich, like, I don't know if there's some PTSD with like Greg Dulcich, him not working out, but are you going to take another swing at a young tight end at some point in time? Like, I don't understand. And so at some point in time, they need to. I thought they whiffed last year on tight end, and I wasn't, really shy about, expressing that. Like, hey, they didn't solve tight end. I mean, last year was a good draft class tight end. Oronde Gaddison, the second, ended up going to the Chargers. You could have got him day 3. I mean, he was right there for the taking. I know a couple other guys got taken ahead of time. Heck, if you're going to make a trade up last year in the draft, I'm not taking Emeka Ibuka. I'm taking Tyler Warren as my tight end. Are you kidding me? Like, that's those kind of moves like that. They've got to address tight end at some point in time, and they've got to address a tight end that can be can really be a willing blocker and can be a 3-down tight end, a tight end that can do a little bit of everything. That's what this team's been missing for so long. And they just, like, I'm tired of hearing about Adam Troutman and his blocking, and we got to pay him $6 million a year. And then Caleb Loner, 7th-round pick. Like, you got to invest in that position at some point in time. Get a young tight end. If he needs to sit for a year, fine. But you need to take someone that you can invest into long term. And this just, you're not investing into a tight end, take him in the 7th round and him be on the practice squad. Like, you please do something at tight end this year in the draft. It doesn't got to be second round. In the second round, you have 2 4th-round picks. There's plenty of young talent tight end in this draft class. You can find one.
I love it, man. I love the passion too, man. But you're absolutely right, man. It's been a long time since Greg Dulcich. We've played around enough. Would love to see a young tight end, a real prospect that we could see hit the field. Caleb Loner maybe just a little bit too big of a prospect, even for Sean Payton. For me, I'll make it easy, man. I talked about all these 7th-round draft picks. Why not go out there and get a great fullback? Look what the New York Giants went out there and did. Patrick Ricard and then Cam Scadaboo. If you get look at Kyle Juszczyk with the 49ers and how dynamic he could be. We carry him on our roster.
Nate Atkins, baby.
Yeah, we got Nate Atkins. Thank you. But it kind of feels a lot like tight end. If we are really going to be the team that carries a fullback, why not go out there and get a fullback? Could you imagine if Patrick Ricard was on this roster, how different we would feel about our running game with J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey all of a sudden? But Nate Atkins doesn't put the same fear out there, man. You got 7th-round draft picks. That's about what you need to invest into a great fullback in this day and age. Go out there and get a fantastic fullback, man. That's my want, I guess you could say, out of this. I got one from Michael, though.
You just hurt Adam Prentice's feelings, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Adam Prentice. Yeah, not replacing Howard Griffith on the all-time fullback list for the Denver Broncos anytime soon. Let's just put it that way. Michael wants one question answered. Would you want running back J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, running back Breece Hall and J.K. Dobbins, running back R.J. Harvey and a rookie running back? Which one of those would it be? I'll leave it up there on the screen. Take a look, Jody, and give me your answer.
Dobbins and Harvey. I'll go with that one. Mainly because I said I think Dobbins is going to play 15-plus games, and I think he probably finishes top 5 in rushing, and he's on a revenge tour, and I want to see that play out. We've seen what it's not even. It's Dobbins for me.
Trevor?
I'd have to probably agree with Jody. J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, and a rookie. And I'm probably taking a rookie. Mike Washington in this draft, someone like that. Just because I don't think Breece Hall is coming to Denver if J.K. Dobbins is back, and vice versa. Like, I don't think J.K. Dobbins is going to be back in Denver if Breece Hall is in Denver. So it's like I don't think those two match and pair very well. So that's why I say J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, and a rookie. It's probably the most realistic. Yeah, that's where I would go probably.
And I'll say this, Michael. You, in the comments, mentioned something that I need to go take a look at, and that's the Jalen Waddle put, I guess, a workout out, out on X. So I'm going to go take a look at that. But in preparation for this evening, and almost, to what Jody was saying, I watched the interview with J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is excited for this year. J.K. Dobbins thinks that Davis Webb is going to bring a different dynamic, not only to this offense, but also what he can do in this offense. And you're absolutely right, Jody. He's on a revenge tour. I'll say this, man. It's reignited my passion to see J.K. Dobbins hit the field this year. I'm hoping for those 15-plus games, my friend, because he was top 3, top 4 running back when he went down in this league. And if he thinks he's going to get something better underneath this offense with Davis Webb, oh, sign me up. I love it. I love it. So I would agree. I'm right there. I love Breece Hall, and I see Paul's coming in on with Breece Hall as well. I think if it would have been that decision, though, you wouldn't. I don't think you would have got one or the other. I think that was a great point. I don't think you get J.K. Dobbins and Breece Hall and R.J. Harvey all on this roster. Somebody's going, somebody's gone. So it would be interesting. So
Can I take my answer back? I would actually go rookie running back if I can get Love. Because if you can get Love, I've said Love is Eric Dickerson like, and if I can get Love, then I don't really, then I don't care about RJ Harvey in any of the 3 scenarios. But if I can get Love, I'll take Love because I think he's a transitional, running back, but that's not even realistic. So
Kenny's in here talking. He's liking Breece Hall rather than a rookie taking the snaps, especially if J.K. Dobbins happens to go down. He's like Breece Hall all day. A lot of people loving the Breece Hall, and he's dynamic. So I
will bark back at Kenny on this, though. He said the other day about and Kenny, more love than to you than anything, but and happy birthday, my friend. I'm gonna say that on there, but before I say this, but no, I mean, like,
happy birthday. Let me tear you apart.
Yeah, let me tell you. Yeah, but like, okay, RJ Harvey was a 2nd-round pick, so you signing or bringing in Breece Hall, that's gonna overshadow RJ Harvey. Like, you got to see what you have in RJ Harvey. He's going into year 2, so it means you bring in Breece Hall at the trade deadline or something like that. Maybe it's a different story, but you have to, like, you can't. It's not gonna be RJ Harvey and Breece Hall like sharing the same backfield per se. That's I guess what I'm trying to say as well. So I understand one Breece Hall down the line. I guess I'm just not the biggest Breece Hall guy, but I mean, I think RJ Harvey at some point in time he's got to step up and be that guy for this team. It's kind of like this team has put their eggs in that basket when they took him in the 2nd round a year ago, but they've continued to do so because they didn't overpay at running back for Travis Etienne. They didn't go out there and pay Kenneth Walker big money. So there's definitely some belief in that building that RJ Harvey can bounce back and be even better next year. So I think by that time, if that was the case, by week 15, RJ Harvey better have it figured out, or you better be trading for a running back at the trade deadline.
Trevor doesn't believe in Breece Hall because he's surrounded with all that talent and being a New York Jet. You know what I mean? That's right. It's pretty easy to just show off when you have all that extra talent around you. I like Breece Hall, man. I think he's in a position where, what do you have? You don't have a quarterback. You don't have
Geno Smith.
You got Geno Smith. You don't have an offensive line. You don't have a tight end. I mean, you might have a wide receiver.
Soon to be Ty Simpson.
Maybe.
Wow.
Hot take from Jody from a few weeks ago. The OG mocking Ty Simpson to the Jets. Speaking of which, great way to maybe start, rounding things up, putting a bow on things a little bit. Man, we are loaded with podcasts. The Denver Bronco Roundup that you're watching right now is typically on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We had a health delay. Thanks for everybody for waiting for me. that pushed us to Friday, but we'll be right back tomorrow night with another episode. Every Saturday night, we have the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Every Sunday, we have the Pick is in mock draft show. The Pick is in mock draft show. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to like put this all together. On Tuesday, we have the Juice, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're getting all geared up for the draft, where we have 3 consecutive days of draft coverage with prizes and giveaways and all that other good stuff that we love to do. It's going to be fantastic, man. So whether you want to juice it up with any NFL team out there, all 32 NFL teams represented there on the Juice, whether you want to do a little mock draft on Sunday, whether you want to jump over here on Saturday, tomorrow night, talk a little more Broncos football, we got you taken care of. Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Check us out. Some final thoughts, gentlemen. Man, I can't believe this episode kind of just flew right by, especially since I don't know, the agenda wasn't really super tight, but that's all good, man. A great conversation. I'm going to go to my good friend Jody first. Jody, some final thoughts from you, my friend.
Just ready for the draft to get here. And on a side note, I'm excited for the playoffs. Nuggets, Avs. This is and the Masters this weekend, so enjoy. And 2 more weeks, and we'll find out what happens at 62.
Michael's wanting an apology from all of us if we end up with Breece Hall. I'll give it to you. Absolutely, man. Hey, let's give the man his due, man. He's called some things. Big sports weekend. You're absolutely right, Jody. Big sports weekend. Good for Denver. Good if you're just a golf fan. The Masters doesn't get much better than that, man. Spring is in the air. Sports are abound. It's a good time, man. And the NFL draft right around the corner, man. Can't believe it. Trevor, some final thoughts from you, my friend.
Yeah, final thoughts from me. I mean, again, I'm probably gonna have to have like a bed in here for where I do our podcast for the Pick is in mock draft show, because that's 3 days and we're usually chit chatting even after the draft. So I just have my bed sitting here next to me and just lay down and go to sleep, and then wake right back up and ready for day 2. So all joking aside, though, appreciate everybody in the chat for chatting it up. It was great. Chat was great tonight, and appreciate everybody who watches even after we're off air. We just know that you're appreciated as well. And please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. All of this hard work goes for everybody else out there, all of our fans, mock drafters, our posse, our juicers, everybody out there. All these shows, all this hard work is all for you guys. Appreciate everybody. Hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you everybody tomorrow night. And as always, go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Mile high salute, man. Can't wait to be doing that, whether it be draft night or this season when we're racking up the points. Man, I have a feeling that we're going to be putting up some points this season. Been putting up points all night with the posse, man. Appreciate you all so much coming in here, being a part of the conversation, really keeping the conversation going. Great ideas, great thoughts. Thank you so much to our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets, Pearl, that's come in here and supported us both in fantastic comments and conversation, but also by being an amazing sponsor. Check them out again tomorrow. The Ultimate Garage Sale out there in Greeley, Colorado, for all your Southwest pottery, Southwest jewelry, and estate gold at wholesale prices. And don't forget about the silver, man. Whatever is left, man, it's the best pricing you'll probably see in a long time. So, got to say hello to Phil McLaughlin too, coming in real super late, saying good evening, Keith, Rocket Man, and the Judge. I slept through Friday. Catch you later. Good to see you. Good to see you, Phil McLaughlin. Sorry that we missed you, and this is a special episode, I guess you could say, on Friday. Not always here. This is usually a Wednesday episode, but we do got to get out of here. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks Trevor. Thanks Jody. Fantastic podcast, and thanks again for the posse being a part of it all. We're going to get out of here one way, the only way that we always get out of here: boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and of course, Denver Broncos in your heart. Until next episode, we're out of here. Good night, everybody.